our very favorite and very famous religion. Buddhism was not intentionally, it was not made like, the intention was not to make Buddhism as a religion, but as people got connected to the Buddhism, as people got converted to the Buddhism, it later on came to be known as the religion. So when we talk about Buddhism, the very first name that comes to our mind is Gautam Buddha. Fine. So a very famous story about Gautam Buddha is when he was born, when the kundali is being made. So when the pandit or when the pandit or whosoever made his kundali told his father that he'll definitely leave the world and he will become the saint. So because he was from a king family, he was itself a king, he was a king. So what happened? His father kept him away from all the kind of like saints and the tapasya and people who used to practice celibacy, people who were indulged in some kind of spiritual activity and all those sort of things, because he did not want it कि हमारे घर से भी कोई सेंट या संत निकले. He wanted the Raja, the son of Raja, to be a Raja. And one day what happened, he saw a small child, then he moved forward and then he saw a youth, then he moved forward and then he saw an old man, very old man, and then he saw a corpse, you can say a dead body. So this incident changed his life. He saw that when you have to die, then where you were born. This thought clicked his mind, and at the age of 29 years, after having a child whose name was Rahul, and during that time he was married to a very beautiful and very famous girl. Fine, his wife was very famous. Fine, so he was born in Lumbini. Lumbini is in Nepal. Fine. So after having a child in 29 years, after 29 years, he left the home. Fine, and he left the home and in search of his own truth, in search of the reason why he was born, in search of every question to which the answer was not available. Fine. So if we study briefly, I'll give you a brief description about the life of Gautam Buddha. He was married and then he left his house. He left his house, he attained enlightenment. Then he gave his first speech or sermon and he died. Fine. And then we study about the sources, or you can say the books, that the three pitaka, it means the basket of three books. We'll study about the books. Then we will study about the different terms and the principles of Buddhism. Fine. So this is very important. This was given in a paragraph. Hagiography means the biography of a saint. Fine, biography of a saint or a religious leader. So he was born in Lumbini. And today we see Buddhism is spread to the northeastern states of our India also, in China also, Sikkim also, Korea also, Sri Lanka also, Myanmar also, Thailand also, and we see in some like Indonesia also. So why this was spread so much? Because Ashoka helped in spreading this Buddhism to different lands. Fine. So he meditated. Meditated means he did the meditation and then he attained the enlightenment. What happened earlier, just say Jainism, when we were studying the Jainism, we see that they practice extreme penance, means they give extreme pain to themselves. So he also did that. He tried to do that and he fell ill. Then he met a person. He told him that you should practice meditation. Then only you will be able to find that particular truth. Fine. So then he finally, after like practicing for 3-4 good years, he was able to get the enlightenment. Enlightenment means that he got the, if I explain in Hindi, he got the knowledge of truth which cannot be explained in words. Fine. So he got enlightenment and then After getting the enlightenment, he spread Dhamma to everybody, or you can say the path of righteous living. It means what is the right way to spend your life and what is the right way to live in a society. Fine. So that was a brief description about this, and this is important, from where we get to know that he was born in Lumbini, and that too specifically 563 AD, 563 BC. So how we get to know that? We get to know from the Rumindi pillar of Ashoka. So as I told you, Ashoka helped in spreading the Buddhism to all over the world. So he is also credited because he noted in his pillar inscription, Rumindi pillar inscription, from where we get to know that Buddha was born specifically in 563 BC. As I told you, after 29 years, he just left his house in search of in search of the truth, in search of the purpose of life. Then he got, this place is very, very important. You can get a question from this. So every you can say every incidence of the Buddha or every incidence of Siddhartha has given a name, has a specific name. So when he left his house, fine, when he left his house, this particular incident is known as Maha Bhikinish Karman. Fine. So when he got enlightenment, it is known as Nirvana. Fine. He found enlightenment under the banyan tree in Bodh Gaya, and Mahavir got enlightenment under the Sal tree. Fine. And then when he gave his first speech in Sarnath, the place is very, very important. When he gave his first speech in Sarnath, it is known as Dharma Chakra Parivartan. Fine. So very, very important. These terms or these terminologies are very, very important. You should remember this. So what happened? Till the life of Buddha or Gautam Buddha, no texts were written. Fine. After his death, then councils happened. After his death, many texts were, or people sat, and or you can say the old senior monks, they sat in Bihar or they sat in Vaishali, and then they started writing the text. Then they thought that, okay, fine, after us, who will remember or who will memorize these things? Who will tell people that Gautam Buddha was there, some kind of religion, or some kind of religion happened, some kind of changes happened in the society, a religion who could accumulate the people from the lower strata was also there. So they started writing the books. Fine. Then they come with the Tripitaka. Fine. You can say sources or Tripitaka. Very, very important. Tripitaka means three Pitaka. Fine. Tripitaka. One is your, and every different book has some kind of specific details, and it was related to specific subject. So one is your Vinay Pitaka. Fine. Which says the rules. First of all, rules were written. Fine. Next is the Sutta Pitaka. The teachings. Teachings of whom? Mine or yours? Not. Of Buddha. Fine. The teachings were written. In Vinay Pitaka, rules were written. In Sutta Pitaka, teachings were written. And in Abhidhamma Pitaka, how to live your life, or the people, or the words that were, or the things that was related to some kind of philosophy. Philosophy of life and birth, philosophy of life after birth, how to get rid of yourself from the cycle of life and birth. All these things were written in the Abhidhamma Pitaka. Fine. So in Vinay Pitaka, first of all, the rules were written, then the teachings were written, and then the philosophical matter or philosophical thinking were written. Councils